could be an issue there, so you might have to look at that joint and make sure that you've got that it's sufficiently sealed and you've got no issues. Looking along the wall again, you can see that the doorway was there and that was bricked up, so obviously it's, you know, that was where the old entrance was. And I think this bit here, as you whiz around and you look at this extension, you can see there that it was an add-on to this building, so one would have to check whether or not there was actually planning permission with the local council to find out whether or not that planning permission was granted for this and how long it's been up. So that's something that you need to be wary of. Once again, you can see there that the guttering leaves something to be desired, so that needs to be sorted out as well. But these are all small issues. You just get a builder to come out and give you a price for all of these, and you'd go from there. So it's nothing to worry about, nothing onerous anyway. We've got quite a generous back garden, as the estate agents would call it. It's all concrete and stuff. I tend to find that these are not too bad, you know. You tend to find sometimes that you might have a grassed garden as such, and the tenants aren't really into gardening anyway, so you probably find that you wouldn't probably get much done. Something like this is very low maintenance, doesn't need a lot of work. The brickwork there is a little bit patchy, but it's still solid. Might need a little bit of pointing around there, but I wouldn't necessarily be too worried about that. Here obviously you've got the pointing coming out, and that was because they've married up the old brickwork with the new brickwork, so you'd have to look at that and see what could be done with that one there. Apart from that, that's it. So right, and now we're going to go upstairs. Once again, typical steep stairs for a terrace property. Nearly fell down there. Oops, be very, very careful. As you can see, you've got the light, which is at the top there. Not a bad height ceiling. Sometimes they tend to be a lot higher than that, but that's not too bad. You could reach and get that one. Front bedroom, wooden floor. It's running to the left a little bit, so it's that way. But the structural surveyor said that this property is settled now, so there's nothing untoward to worry about. We're going to have a quick look now at the chimney breast. It's not being used, but there needs to be a vent put in there, because sometimes what you tend to find is you get damp patches up there where the chimney's not been vented. It does smell a little bit in here, but that's typical. You know, if property's been empty for a while, you will get a bit of a smell. I don't know if you can see those patches on the wall there. It looks like there's a little bit of damp, so one might need to have a look at that and check what's happening. But it's nice, it's got a friendly feel to it. I like these kind of houses. They're predictable and you know what's what with them. Having said that, just be careful of the floorboards. As you can see there, that's a little bit springy. So you'd have to bear in mind that you have to have a look at those once obviously they lift the floorboards to look at the surfaces. Radiator's right by the door there. It could do with being under the window really. Traditionally that's what people used to say, but have a word with your heating engineer or your boiler. Sorry, have a word with your plumber, who should be a gas safe registered plumber, and they will be able to advise you on the best placement of radiators. It's a 2-bedroom property. You know, it doesn't need a massive amount done to it. I think the best thing I would do with this is I'd strip all the wallpaper off and just see what's under the walls, because then it'll give you a better idea of what is going on in regards to the condition of the plasterwork in here. I don't think there's a vent on this chimney breast again, so you'd have to check that out. Tap it on the walls again. Can you hear that difference there? So that's what you're listening out for, that hollow sound. So you know that there's something wrong with the plaster there. It might just, once the wallpaper's pulled off, you might have to replaster that area, but that's something to be considered. If we go around here, solid door again. The surveyor has picked up on the fact that the flashing is loose, or it's lifted up a little bit there. Also there's a bit of a lump in the roof there. Now they think that that's because the battens have sunken. What I think that is where you've got the old extension and the new extension. You've got the outer wall, which was where you can see where the new tiles and the old tiles are. Where the old tiles end, where you can see that line, that used to be the end of the old building. what they've done is then they've extended and built past to the end there. Now, where the line is, how can I explain this? That's where the old structural wall used to be. And what has happened is when they've joined the roof, the rafters have not been either lifted up enough, or because the wall penetrates through to the roof space, you have a bit where what they used to traditionally do was what they would tilt it up a little bit so that when it rained it would run back in towards the guttering. And as you can see there, they've got a joint where the guttering from the old extension was, and then they've got the new guttering, which is, let me see if I can stick my finger there we go. So what you've got there is you've got the old guttering, and then above that you've got the new guttering, and instead of taking them off and joining them together, what they've done is they've just butted one up to the other. And it's the same with this, they've butted one roof up to the other. So I don't think there's anything wrong structurally there, but someone would need to get into the loft space to check it out. And if there isn't a loft hatch, you would need to see if you could get access to that, or once you do purchase a property and you take a chance, because that's what sometimes you have to do, you would then be able to determine whether or not there was a problem. But to strip something like that and to retile it and just to get the laths right, you're talking about, I don't know, less than £1,000, but it depends on who you know. That lead flashing there needs to be sorted out as well, so it's not really adequate. You know, if rain was blowing up, it would probably get in under there, so that needs to be taken care of as well. I don't think there's much more to say about this. Once again, I don't think there's a lot more I can really say about that. There's not a lot that needs doing in here, basically paint and decorating, and obviously once you get a rewire, you're going to find that you might have to do a bit of plaster patching, which I've talked about in a previous video, and that's it. You've got the light switches here, which are surface mounted, and the old plastic trunking. So it's probably been done about 20 years ago, but that needs to be checked out. I think that is everything that I can tell you about this property. So this is the time when I'm going to stop. So this is Neville Douglas for Ashanti Dutch Property Letting, and I'm signing off, and good hunting with the properties that you're looking for yourselves. Also, if you feel a bit reluctant about doing that, I offer this service in Stoke-on-Trent, so if you're looking for any properties and you want to buy investment properties that stack up, talking of stacking up, this one, once purchased and everything else, and you spend about £10,000 on a refurb on it, will yield about 9%. So that is a good return for your money when you're considering that you're probably only getting about 0.5% or whatever it is with the banks. And in 10 years' time, this property is going to be worth double what you pay for it now. Having said that, it's being purchased at a reduced price because of the works that need doing on it. So you'll find that in 10 years' time, you'll have very good return from this. And you know, this is an ideal rental property as well. And once it's done to a good standard, you'll find that there's very little maintenance to be done. Right, so with all that in mind, I wish you goodbye.